Picture this. You walk into a coffee shop, you open your laptop, it's thick, it's black, it looks like it was designed by someone who has never heard the word aesthetic. There's a little red nub right in the middle of the keyboard that nobody asked for, and nobody can fully explain. And yet, three different strangers glance over. One of them nods. You're one of us. That's the ThinkPad experience, and it is, objectively, one of the strangest cult followings in the history of consumer technology. Today, we're not just talking about a laptop. We're talking about how a corporate business machine became the internet's favorite status symbol, a meme, a philosophy, and for some people, practically a personality. Let's get into it. To understand why the ThinkPad became a cultural icon, you have to understand what it was originally built to be, and the answer is nothing fun. IBM launched the first ThinkPad in October 1992. It was a business laptop, a tool, designed for people in suits who traveled a lot and needed something that wouldn't die on them mid-flight between New York and Chicago. And it was brilliant at that job. These things were practically indestructible. They had internal roll cages protecting the guts of the machine. You could spill water on the keyboard. There was literally a drainage tray under the keys with holes going out the bottom. Dust-resistant, heat-resistant. NASA actually flew ThinkPads on space shuttle missions. Space! These things went to space! The keyboard was legendary. Anyone who has typed on a vintage ThinkPad keyboard will tell you it's one of the best typing experiences ever put into a laptop, and they will tell you unprompted, at length, possibly with tears in their eyes. And the design, that boxy, no-nonsense, all-black aesthetic, David Hill, the design chief for over 20 years, was told as early as 1995 to change things up. His response? Essentially, nope. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So, for about 15 years, ThinkPads were the laptop of choice for the corporate world. If you were a serious business person, you had a ThinkPad. It was as much part of the uniform as the briefcase and the BlackBerry. But then, something interesting happened. Companies don't keep laptops forever. Leases expire, IT departments refresh their fleets every few years, and when they do, those old ThinkPads get sold off on eBay, at auctions, through surplus stores for almost nothing. We're talking $80, $100, $150 for a machine that was built to survive a nuclear winter. And here's where the story gets interesting. This is the early 2010s. Consumer laptops are changing. They're getting thinner, sleeker. Apple's MacBook line is eating everyone's lunch aesthetically, and every PC manufacturer is scrambling to copy them. Thin is in, ports are disappearing, and crucially, laptops are being designed so you can't open them. Soldered RAM, glued batteries, proprietary screws. The message from manufacturers was pretty clear. Your device is not yours to touch. Break the seal, void the warranty, take it to our store and buy a new one. This drove a certain type of person absolutely crazy. The kind of person who thinks the best part of owning a computer is understanding how it works. The kind of person who thinks upgrading your own RAM is a basic human right. The kind of person who uses the word repairability in casual conversation. These people found the ThinkPad, and they fell in love. At some point in the early to mid-2010s, the ThinkPad became a meme, and the ground zero was 4chan's Gboard, the technology board, where it became almost a religion. The logic was simple and kind of beautiful. Here was a laptop that was older than some of its users, cost less than a night out, and could be upgraded from top to bottom. Buy one for $100, drop in more RAM, swap the hard drive for an SSD, install Linux. Suddenly, you had a machine that ran faster than a brand new Windows laptop at a fraction of the cost. And unlike that shiny MacBook the guy next to you was using, you owned your machine completely. The memes were everywhere. The most famous was the Virgin versus Chad format. Virgin MacBook owner versus Chad ThinkPad user. The MacBook owner paying $2,000 for soldered RAM and a dongle lifestyle. The ThinkPad user, $150, fully upgradable, running Arch Linux, doesn't need your approval. There was a whole mythology built around the red track point, that little nub in the middle of the keyboard. It's technically called a pointing stick. It lets you move the cursor without taking your hands off the keyboard. Most people mock it. ThinkPad people consider it sacred. There are memes about it, there are forum debates about it that go on for hundreds of posts. The community on Reddit, Reddit/ThinkPad, became a place where people would post their battle station setups, ask for upgrade advice, and show off their hauls from eBay. ThinkPads.com had active forums where enthusiasts cataloged every model, every quirk, every BIOS modification. And of course, you couldn't just own a ThinkPad, you had to run neofetch, that little terminal command that displays your system info with an ASCII art logo, and post it online so everyone could see you were running Arch Linux or Debian like a true believer. It became a counterculture status symbol, not because of how it looked, but because of what it looked like. In a world where everyone was buying thinner, prettier, more expensive machines, the ThinkPad was a deliberate choice to go the other direction. It was the anti-MacBook, and that identity was irresistible to a certain corner of the internet. Here's the thing, though, and this is what I find genuinely fascinating about the ThinkPad phenomenon. It wasn't really about the laptop. It was about what the laptop represented. The ThinkPad cult emerged at exactly the moment when the tech industry was shifting from "we make tools you own" to "we make products you rent." Apple perfected this with the iPhone, then brought it to the Mac. You don't repair it yourself, you don't upgrade it, you use it, and when we decide it's obsolete, you buy the new one. The ThinkPad was a rejection of that entire philosophy. It was proof that you could buy something old, understand it completely, modify it to your needs, and have it outlast 3 generations of new hardware. That's not just a tech preference, that's a worldview. And the meme format made that worldview viral. The Virgin versus Chad comparison wasn't really about laptops, it was about autonomy, about not being a passive consumer, about knowing how your tools work. The ThinkPad became a symbol for everyone who felt like the tech industry had stopped making things for them and started making things at them. That's a powerful identity to attach to a $150 laptop. Now, I'd be doing you dirty if I didn't mention the elephant in the room. Lenovo bought the ThinkPad brand from IBM in 2005, and ever since, there has been a continuous, passionate, ongoing debate about whether modern ThinkPads are a betrayal of everything the brand stood for. Modern ThinkPads are thinner, sleeker, more like other laptops. Some models have soldered RAM now. The keyboards, while still good, are not what they used to be. The roll cage is gone because there's no room for it. The ThinkPad community has basically canonized the T480, released in 2018, as the last true ThinkPad, the last one that was fully upgradable, had a replaceable battery, and felt like the original philosophy in hardware form. To be fair to Lenovo, they've done some interesting things recently. They partnered with iFixit, the repair Bible of the internet, to improve the repairability scores on newer models. The ThinkPad T14 Gen 5 scored a 9 out of 10 on iFixit's repairability scale, so they're listening, at least a little. But the fact that people are still having this debate in 2025 tells you everything. The community doesn't just want a good laptop. They want the idea of the ThinkPad to survive. So what does all of this mean? I think the ThinkPad story is one of the most interesting case studies in how tech culture forms identity. We live in an era where our devices are deeply personal. We carry them everywhere, we work on them, we create on them, and the way we choose our devices says something about how we see ourselves. The ThinkPad community is essentially a group of people who decided that ownership matters, that repairability is a value, that a tool should serve you, not the other way around. And they built a whole culture with memes, forums, rituals, and inside jokes around that idea. It's one of the rare cases where a product became genuinely countercultural, not because it was marketed that way. IBM never ran a single ad targeting computer nerds, but because the internet found it, claimed it, and turned it into something much bigger than a business laptop. The ThinkPad meme really is a conversation about the kind of technology we want to live with. And judging by the fact that people are still buying $150 ThinkPads off eBay in 2025, installing Linux and posting neofetch screenshots, that conversation is far from over. If you've never used a ThinkPad, honestly, go get one. Spend $100 on a T430 or an X220. Crack it open, swap some parts, install whatever you want on it. Or don't. Buy whatever laptop works for you. But at least now you'll know why the next time you see someone in a coffee shop with that black brick and the little red nub, they look just slightly too satisfied with themselves. They fell for the meme, and honestly, so did we all. If you enjoyed this one, subscribe. We go deep on tech history and the culture behind the machines every week. Drop a comment. Are you a ThinkPad person, or do you think it's all just nostalgia? I want to know. This has been Corby Larry. See ya.